Hey guys, beautiful morning here, about 60 degrees. Rabbits are loving it. Chickens ready for me to feed them. They're squawking. On this video, I was going to answer some questions. And then I was going to talk about if you're starting out a small rabbitry, how many would you need? First of all, some questions. One question was what I do if a rabbit bites me. If a rabbit bites me, well, one, there's two different type of bites. One is if they just had babies, and usually you can tell because they're semi-nervous when you're messing with them, and so that's forgiven. But if they don't have babies, if a rabbit bites me, it gets a stick. It is dead instantly. And I tried when I first doing rabbits. I had a beautiful pedigreed California doe. You can look at my beginning videos, and her name was Callie. And she was mean, but I loved her because of her build and everything. And so I kept her. Well, I got one litter out of her, and I kept a little doe out of her. And I raised that doe from a baby. And I killed the mama, and I have her hide. We tanned her hide and kept the baby. And I raised that baby from hand, and when that baby turned 5 months old, it got mean and bit me. And so it is hereditary. So if a rabbit bites you and they do not have a reason, there's no need to keep them. Just put them in the frying pan. There's no problem there. Another question: a buck fighting a doe was the question. My first thing would be make sure that isn't a young buck. It's first off. You'd be shocked, even me, how many times you mistake because you look at a rabbit when they're young and you go, okay, that's a doe, when you stick it in a pen. Well, then you never check again, and then when they're 6 months, you stick them in with a buck, and it was a buck and not a doe. So double check that. If it's a proven doe and you know 100% a doe and it is doing that, then that's not right. Take them out and wait a couple days and do it again. But I've never, my opinion would be it's a young buck that you thought was a doe. If it's a doe, then holler back at me and say yes, it is a doe, and we'll go from there. But I haven't heard that. I've heard of it one time, and the buck ended up being bad. You may give him some space out on the ground, make him a little fenced-in area where she can get away from him, and see if that solves it. See if he's just being overly aggressive. Another question. Doe won't breed. The best way I found that out, well, first there's a iron supplement for horses. It's called Red Cell, but it comes in a big bottle. But it only takes a teaspoon every day when you feed your doe. Put it on top, and it'll put her in heat about 3 days. It gives them lots of extra iron, and that's what the does are needing, and it makes them give it up. But the easiest way, quit, Logan. I know, they're laying eggs. I'm sorry, mamas. I'm sorry. Leave them alone. Go. You better get your shoe back on. The best thing I know of is overnight. Okay, let's say to this afternoon, I would put the doe I want bred in the buck's pen and the buck in the doe's pen and let her spend all night smelling that buck. And then the following morning, put the buck back in his pen with the doe, and that should do the trick. That should take care of that problem. If that doesn't work, rabbits are on a cycle, but it's not really, you can't really call it a cycle like other animals. Rabbits, there's a lot of different research on it. Some say they're in heat 245 days out of a year, and some say it's more like 305. And I've found it's more on the upper end. The only reason a rabbit usually will not breed is if you catch them like right on the day, and sometimes you just have rabbits that won't. It's just either the temperature or other reasons they won't. But no, I wouldn't butcher a doe for not breeding unless it keeps up or unless she's a bad mom, because once she does breed, she should be fine. I think that's all the questions, and I don't have time on this video to say what I was going to say about the others, so I'll make another video. So I'll just show you all these guinea pigs. I think I'm going to be getting rid of them. They did real good on pet quality. I would recommend them. They were easy keepers. Everything was easy on them. Their manure stinks more than rabbits. Their urine is real bad. It's real sulfury. It's like, woo, burn your nose. But they have been real sweet. But they just didn't take, and so I don't have no babies for it. And they take 72 days, so it's right at 2.5 months to have babies. And so if you get a skip like this, I mean, you've wasted, that much time, which they weren't no problem. They were just in this little pen right here. But I'm going to find them a new home and put this back to rabbits, stick to what I know. I'm still working on my pigeons, carrier pigeons. They should be on their way in the next few months. But homing pigeons, I should say, not carrier pigeons, homing pigeons. But all right, bye-bye.